You most probably use it every single day, most likely without a second thought. But what if I told you that this mundane household item has a history more fascinating, more surprising, and more impactful than most epic inventions? Get ready to unroll the forgotten saga of toilet paper, from ancient communal solutions to the ultra-soft rolls in your bathroom. Sometimes back, way back in 1857, a New York entrepreneur named Joseph Gayetty did something that would change human hygiene forever. He packaged flat sheets of paper, infused them with aloe, and sold them as Gayetty's medicated paper, at 50 cents for 500 sheets. It was the first commercially available toilet paper in America. But here's what most people, maybe yourself included, don't know about this item. The story of toilet paper spans hundreds, if not thousands of years. The story covers multiple continents. The story of the toilet paper involves emperors, Silk Roads, farmers' almanacs, and a panic that would grip the world in the year 2020. What you're about to discover will forever change how you see this everyday item sitting in your bathroom right now. The story of the toilet paper begins not in the modern West, as most of us would assume, but in ancient China. This was during the 6th century AD. Long before Europeans even conceived of dedicating paper to personal hygiene, Chinese emperors were already using specially crafted sheets for that purpose. Historical records from the Chinese Tang dynasty describe how the imperial court required thousands of sheets of soft, perfumed paper annually, reserved exclusively for the royal family. This wasn't just any paper. Craftsmen were required to produce large, soft sheets specifically for the emperor's use. Some of these special papers measured 2 feet by 3 feet. But what did the rest of humanity use? The answer is creative, to say the least. For example, ancient Romans used a sponge on a stick, called a tersorium, soaked in salt water or vinegar. It was shared communally in public latrines. Think about that. Ancient Greeks reportedly preferred pottery fragments or pebbles. Yes, pebbles. Medieval Europeans relied on hay, wool, or even, for the wealthy, lace. Colonial Americans famously used corn cobs and pages from the Farmer's Almanac, which conveniently came with a hole for hanging in the outhouse. African communities used, and it is said some still do so to date, leaves from shrubs in the open fields. Anyway, by the mid-1800s, the Industrial Revolution was transforming every aspect of daily life, especially in the West. And Joseph Gayetty saw an opportunity. Gayetty's medicated paper hit the market in 1857, and he was so confident in his invention that he had his name printed on every single sheet. But despite the novelty, Americans were skeptical. The concept seemed wasteful, even absurd. Why buy paper when perfectly good corn cobs and catalog pages were free? Gayetty's product struggled initially, but the seeds had been planted. It was just a matter of time. Then entered the Scott brothers in 1890. Clarence and Irvin Scott founded the Scott Paper Company in Philadelphia. They refined the concept, creating perforated rolls instead of flat sheets. This was a game-changing innovation. But there was still a problem with this new innovation: cultural embarrassment. Americans in the Victorian era simply didn't discuss bathroom habits. It was a taboo. Stores hid toilet paper behind counters. Customers whispered their requests or used euphemisms. Think about buying a condom in modern times. That kind of thing. The Scott brothers understood they needed to change public perception. They began aggressive advertising campaigns, positioning toilet paper not as a luxury, but as a necessity for modern hygiene and health. And then, sometime in 1935, Northern Tissue made a revolutionary claim: splinter-free toilet paper. Yes, you heard that right. Before this innovation, paper manufacturing sometimes left wood particles in the final product. The advertising tagline became legendary: splinter-free toilet paper. It was simultaneously horrifying and compelling. Who knew they'd been risking splinters? But the biggest transformation came in 1942, when Britain's St. Andrew's paper mill introduced two-ply toilet paper. These were softer, stronger, more absorbent. The post-World War II economic boom accelerated innovations, and toilet paper was not left behind. Colored toilet paper emerged in the 1950s. Pink, blue, green. Matching bathroom decor became a status symbol. Toilet paper was getting acceptance in the homes, finally. If you're finding this history as fascinating as we did while doing our research, take a moment to share this video with someone who appreciates the hidden stories behind everyday objects. And don't forget to like and subscribe to The Fascinating Origin of Things, because every ordinary item has an extraordinary past. Here's something most people rarely consider. Most of the rest of the world doesn't use toilet paper. Let's look at numbers. Approximately 70% to 75% of the global population doesn't regularly use toilet paper. In much of Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Southern Europe, water is the preferred method. Cleaner, more hygienic, many argue. The Japanese revolutionized the toilet experience with the washlet in 1980. Heated seats, water jets, air dryers, even music to mask sounds. The toilet became a technological marvel. Meanwhile, the Western world remained committed to paper. By the 1990s, Americans were using an average of 50 pounds of toilet paper per person annually, more than any other nation. And then came the memorable 2020. This is when COVID-19 sparked global lockdowns. Something very unexpected and strange happened. Toilet paper became the most sought-after commodity in the developed world. Psychologists later explained the phenomenon. Toilet paper is bulky, visible, and essential. Seeing someone else stockpiling it triggered fear of scarcity. The panic became self-fulfilling. Factories ran 24/7. Manufacturers who typically produced 70% of their product for commercial use, offices, restaurants, schools, suddenly had to redirect everything to retail. The supply chain wasn't designed for everyone being home simultaneously. Within weeks, toilet paper became internet currency. People traded it, hoarded it, fought over it in store aisles. The humble roll had become a symbol of security in uncertain times. Today, as we emerge from the pandemic, we're confronting an uncomfortable truth. Our toilet paper habit has consequences. Americans alone use about 36.5 billion rolls annually. That's roughly 15 million trees. For something we use for seconds and flush away. Innovation continues. Bamboo toilet paper, sustainable, fast-growing. Recycled paper products, bidets gaining popularity in Western homes. The industry that Joseph Gayetty pioneered 165 years ago is being reimagined once again. What began as medicinal sheets with a man's name printed on them has become a multi-billion-dollar global industry, a pandemic panic trigger, and now an environmental conversation. The secret and fascinating history of toilet paper reveals something profound. Even our most private, mundane habits are shaped by innovation, culture, economics, and crisis. Every roll tells a story of human ingenuity and adaptation. And that is just the way life works. The next time you reach for that roll, try to remember, you're participating in a tradition thousands of years old, touching a product that has survived wars, pandemics, and revolutions. This unsung innovation, hiding in plain sight in nearly every home, has quietly shaped human civilization. This has been the fascinating origin of things. Subscribe for more hidden histories of everyday objects. What should we explore next? Feel free to share your thoughts on the comments section of this video. Thank you for watching.